everyone, and welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, welcome to our wonderful channel. I'm Cassandra.
And I'm Mom.
And this is Millennial Mom. If you've been here before, what's up? I'm glad you guys are back tuning in to our Married at First Sight Season 12, Episode 4, Romance or Regret Review. And this episode really drained me with one particular couple because they really made it all about them this episode, just like it was in the last episode. So we're not gonna start with them first.
But you know what? I think it's gonna be centered around them for a few episodes more to come, just based off of the circumstances.
I know, but anyways, let's just hop right into the first couple of what happened. So pretty much everyone is picking up where they left off, where we saw them in the room together. So it was pretty much like a 10-15 minute scene of what we saw the last episode. So the first couple we're gonna start off with is Jacob and Haley. And I call Jacob Mr. Steak and Eggs because that's all he says that he eats. And even after they laid in bed and Jacob was real comfortable the first night in his boxers, I was like, okay, Jacob. I feel like he was trying to, pursue something happening because he's really attracted to his wife. But Haley is like, she's not there yet.
Not yet.
She's not there yet. And so when they wake up in the morning, and I remember that they're talking about like breakfast foods that they eat and stuff like that. And all he keeps mentioning is, he eats steak and eggs and steak, red meat and eggs. He's trying to throw some dairy in there. He does fitness a time or two in the morning,
at least he said he did 2 hours worth of fitness to break up the steak and eggs and red meat. But that's the type of diet he's on, though.
It don't matter what type of diet he's on. He just kept going on and on and on about it. And then he was like, yeah, when I was 25, and I could see Haley's face. She's like,
right.
Okay. Like, can she get a word in? Can she say something about herself too? She's like, dang, all I know right now is that he eats steak and eggs.
Well, that's just been the way their whole conversation went on the actual wedding night, when they went to bed, and now when they wake up in the morning.
Just mad awkward. And she was just like staring in the distance when she woke up too. I'm like, she is not here for it. But maybe it will turn around for her. So Haley was the one that actually got to meet Jacob's parents first. And Jacob's dad pretty much reiterates exactly what Jacob was saying earlier.
Yeah.
He does work out 7 a.m. in the morning. He wakes up early.
But you know what's funny though? He was like, yeah, he wakes up early. She's like, 7 a.m. I like to sleep in. They looked at her like,
you do? Yeah, people like to do that. But then his mom even went into detail, like, even as a kid, he was mostly like a loner, and teachers would call him, he's 5 going on 85, and teachers be so wrong. They always be talking about students. I'm like, see, that's not cool. And then Haley's like, that's nice. He likes to do things on his own, 80s and stuff like that, but I'm a social person. So we're going to have to go out and do something. I'm not trying to be in the house with his sauna and his jacuzzi and his beach.
And the pool. Because she was trying to wonder, like, how is he going to be in her social circles? Because, again, she is, out there with her friends doing whatever, just having a good time. But when Jacob meets her parents, and they start to tell him, like, Haley's been a particular way since she was a little girl. She speaks her mind, and, when she gets mad or angry, you'll know.
But to me, it didn't even seem like he was really listening to that, because just like he did previously at the wedding, he's still talking about his beach, his sauna, but this time he got pictures on his phone. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, he's like, let me pull that up. And I was like, they didn't come here to see that. But one thing that her parents said to him, Haley's favorite food was steak too. I was like, bingo.
I mean, he would have found out about that if he actually asked.
I know, but
putting on about him and his steak and eggs.
I know, but with him eating it so often, so it shouldn't be as awkward for her. Maybe just the everyday kind of thing.
And her brother pretty much didn't look like he was here for it. He was like, you know what? She's just a hard nut to crack. Just stick with it. You're going to get a result either way, positive or negative, because we already know Haley is 50-50 either way anyways. Still don't know why she came on the show, but I'm going to let her live for right now. And then when they come back, of course, to reconvene and talk about what happened, he comes back with some alcohol. They discuss the family, and he's like, I didn't know that you like steak and eggs. She's like, yeah, Steak. But then, I'm sorry, I don't know why this bothers me so much, but he said he eats 2 pounds of red meat for lunch, and he has the audacity to wonder why he has gut issues that he has to go get worked out.
She was like, 2 pounds?
That's why. Jacob?
Well, plus he's into working out. Maybe his fitness routine, maybe he's going to be like a bodybuilder where they have to put extra protein, because he did say that's the type of diet he was on, but he did throw in butter, so he's healthy with a little bit of cholesterol. So he does need to get that checked out.
Defending some people on
No,
here.
but I'm just saying that's probably why he eats it. He needs extra protein. Clearly he's working out for some reason, but
he don't need chicken eggs all day. But you know what? If it works for him, it works for him. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump on to Chris and Paige. And for me, their whole thing was a trip. So
it was, and it's
I feel like I have to give a play-by-play with them, because you have to really like understand like what is really going on, because I can't make sense of it all.
yeah, but we gave a true play-by-play. This video is gonna be real long, and it's gonna be like a counseling session, which Chris
it's
really
not going to
needs.
be like that. It's just what was said. So let me just go on to what Paige said. So she thinks her husband is beautiful. She loves that he is God-fearing and is excited for what's next to come. Chris, he keeps saying, you know, initially he's not attracted, but I feel like now he knows that he's on camera and that it's being recorded. He always kind of says, but you know what, I'm trying to like grow to like her, to get to know her as a person and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And I could have, you know, gave him some redemption points for that. But
Those points, I'm sure, went out the window when those other scenes popped up. But before we get to those other scenes, let's just go ahead and jump to the morning, the breakfast, because let's just not spend no time. Let's get to the nitty gritty.
I was about to get to the nitty gritty. You thought I was about to go around? I just have to jump straight into it, because we see Paige wake up. She looks disheveled. Hair's a mess. It was just a mess. I don't like talking about people's hair, but I knew she was stressed just based on how it was just going all over the place.
Just her whole demeanor, you could tell she was stressed.
And we found out that, well, first we found out that last night they were cuddling in bed. They were a little bit intimate. And then at 9, he said he was going to get some food. He went to go get some food, but he never came back. So she's like, well, where is he?
Well,
Didn't call, didn't answer her text, just basically left her for dead in the hotel room. Well, go ahead and say what you want to say.
well, he didn't come back right away, you know, with a typical food order, 20, 30 minutes. It took him a while to come back.
We didn't find out it was a while. We found out that he didn't come back until the next morning, from what Paige said. And we see him come into the room, get on a shirt, and he was like, so what's the problem? What's the issue?
Exactly. It's like, what do you mean? What is the problem? As if he was never MIA?
Yeah, and then he eventually, you know, went on to say, I'm not really attracted to you like that. Even though they match on paper, it's just, he don't really see it for them with the attraction level right now. And she was like, well, where's all this coming from? Because you were intimate with me twice. And I was like, hold the telephone. Hold on. I had to put it on pause, because I was like, Paige, you didn't give us all this information. You said that y'all, you know, did a little something intimate, and then he didn't come back to the next morning. So I'm sitting here thinking, okay, this is the first time they're having a conversation on camera. Mm-hmm. No, he came back at like 4 o'clock in the morning, whatever time between that time and when production came back in, they were intimate again. And then on camera, he wanted to let her know that he wasn't attracted to her. Yet they did it twice already. I was like, Paige, why did you even let it happen twice after he left you for dead anyway?
Exactly. Well, Paige, again, is on the show for the process, because she mentions the process a few times. You know, yeah. Why the experts and all that stuff. And that's what I say too. Like, why would you be on here? You don't know who you're going to get, you know, mm-hmm. A, B, or C. But one thing that Chris is trying to say and to show is his reasoning as to why. I know we're matched on paper. I mean, that's going to be so far mm-hmm. his rationale for the purpose of being with Paige and to his parents and mm-hmm. to us, the viewer, whatever. But to me,
that and him having a panic attack. So your panic attack happened, but then all of a sudden mysteriously went away and you were able to have sex with her again, but now your panic attack is back and she's not attractive and y'all just match on paper.
So now let's go ahead and jump to the meeting with the parents. So Paige meets with the parents first. It's Chris Sr., Chris's mom, Chris's
auntie.
His auntie. They're talking about, oh, how'd it go last night? It was beautiful, things like that. And Paige was like, yeah.
You forgot, Daddy, you were beautiful. You was beautiful. I was like, can he sit next to his wife, please? Not next to Paige. It was just gross to me. And then, I know you was about to tag on to this, but she goes in to stay, and I don't know. Let us know in the comments down below, and let me know what you think about this mom. She didn't really go into explicit details about them and their sexual relations. She just said, they are having a little bump in the road, but, they ended up being intimate twice.
Well, she didn't say twice at first. She said being intimate. And then that's when Christina was like, you bumps or forks? She's like, no, bumps. And then she explained the situation and said again about how he wasn't attracted to her. This whole, it's going to be repetition, I can see it, is the weeks go by. And then the mom was like, well, honestly, maybe people have a change of heart or change of mind about something.
Things can happen.
Right, but Christina was like, no. Like on the first night, that's what he said. Kind of like he couldn't believe that's what was happening. And then Mom and Chris Sr. got into a little tiff. And then when Paige said it actually happened twice, they was like, oh, well, damn.
Well, the mom was like, well, maybe, he was drinking a little bit. See, and I saw some people trying to give Chris's mom a pass last week, and I wasn't giving Chris's mom a pass because she knew what type of time her husband's on, and she knew what type of time her husband was teaching her kids, because even Chris Sr. was like, at least I raised a gentleman, at least he was being honest. Okay, he was being honest after he was intimate with her twice. That's not being a gentleman. That's him just wanting to go to Pound Town, and that's about it. Excuse my language.
Right. So we didn't see Chris. Well, before I get into that, when they left, or before she left, Chris Sr. told her, you're the kind of daughter-in-law that I feel is right for the family, and just go ahead and write it out.
No, that's not what he said. He says, I think you are matched well to me and you're gorgeous to me. That's what he said. Just all type of creepy vibes. He was definitely trying to give Chris Sr. a pass. We can't let him write on that one, Mom.
So then we did not see Chris meet up with her family.
I mean, did we really need to? But kind of, because I think he would have been roasted, at least by the cousin, by how he treated the cousin, if she did tell him.
Remember when they first met him, or whatever the case may be, it's like, if you don't treat her right, we're going to fight.
This is fight.
This is fight.
This is fight. And then we see Chris meet up with his parents and the auntie. And the parents, I mean, they were asking him questions like, why'd you do it twice and all the other stuff. And we hear that same thing. Oh my gosh. We're attracted, not attracted to her, but they match on paper and blah, blah, blah. Just give the excuses. I didn't even listen to that conversation because it was pointless to me. So we're just going to skip on to the next part that actually has some substance and had me like, what?
Exactly. Go ahead, girl.
So Chris and Paige meet up. Chris is over here stressing. He looked like he's about to be in tears. Just upset.
Is he crying? That's what I said first before she said it. Are you crying?
He wasn't crying. He was just making it seem like he was upset about her, telling his parents about them being intimate. He said, where he's from in Chicago, that's not what they do.
That's not what they do. That's not what they do.
Mm-mm. It's just disrespectful. Like, you disrespected me. And I was like, if anyone ever has a question about what gaslighting is, if you ever needed something to look at,
an example,
that was the example right there. Because how dare Chris be upset with Paige for expressing her feelings to his parents? She didn't even go into detail, so I don't think anything was wrong with that. I'm sure some people might think so, but I'm not gonna say he's been leading this girl on, but he kind of led her on in the beginning, and then after said, his famous line, and Paige is like, what is wrong with you?
Well, first of all, while he was doing all that, he was chastising her, and I'm like, I know you're not chastising her.
He was,
because you know what, some of you may agree, some of you
talk about sex with my parents. I was like, can someone turn this off, please? Right. This was just too much for me.
He is, to me, some of you may agree, may not A classic definition of a narcissist. He tried to turn the whole situation around as if Paige had said and did something off the wall, something that like he just has never heard of, and how could you? Like, how could you do it to me?
Right. And then she was like, I just needed some clarification because I talked to this to my male friends, and my male friends were like kind of confused by this too.
No. How are you going to put our business out in the street like that? How are you going to do the people that you don't know? Well, I've known them before you. I'm like,
He didn't care about none of that.
Wait a minute. Because honestly, where were you at 3, 4 in the morning?
Eventually, in the end, I guess Paige decided to forgive him because he apologized. He said, you know what? I recognize that I was being an a-hole, and I don't want to come off that way because I'm fun, I'm loving, I'm exciting. You gonna like me. And Paige is like, I feel like God ordained us from the experts to put it in our life for a reason, and we gonna keep working this out, just a little bump.
And that's what saved Chris. What is saving this relationship now before the honeymoon? I mean, didn't I say the honeymoon is where some couples make or break? Is her devotion for God and her willingness to stay on the course that she feels God put her on and to continue this married at first sight. Because if she was any other,
if she was me, boy, he would have got lit up messing with me. That is not acceptable in any type of way. And then I would tell my mom, and then he would got lit up by my mom and my family. Like, no. Mm-mm. So let's just keep moving on because I don't want to make this about Chris. We made it about Chris for long enough. Let's go on to Ryan and Clara. So Clara already got the bottle of wine in the bed. She's already ready to go. She likes Ryan. She likes everything about Ryan. Ryan checks off all the boxes for her.
But you know what I noticed though about her?
What? That she'll like anyone?
Well, she said he's exactly what she asked for. No, she's unorganized. And she talks a lot.
Out of all that, you got unorganized? That is so random.
Did you? Yeah, because did you see she was looking for some type of dish in her luggage she couldn't find? Like, how are you unorganized already?
Oh my goodness. That is not what I got. What I got was Ryan didn't really say 100% that he was into Clara. He still has, his guard up, and he's still trying to see about her because she does talk a lot. And, he's not 100% sure yet, but I think he's definitely attracted to her. So they wake up in the bed, nothing really happened. He just said that she moves around a lot because they haven't really been with anyone else in the bed before, just by themselves.
If you're single, you sleep in the bed by yourself mostly, I would assume.
So before going off to meet the parents, one of the biggest conversation was like, I know your parents are both ministers, so I'm kind of nervous to meet them because she hasn't been to church in years. So when she does go to meet his parents, the first thing they do when they get the food is pray. So she's already kind of uncomfortable because this is not her scene.
Not already uncomfortable. She's uncomfortable before she went, just like you said, because she's not into organized religion. She felt like, it's just not what she is right now, and that's not what she needed. But I just felt like she was uncomfortable throughout the whole scene. Even if they didn't pray over the food, just knowing the fact that Ryan's family's background, she just simply isn't comfortable with in general. So
let's move on to Ryan meeting her parents. And Ryan, he came off like a good gentleman. Like, that is someone that I would want to bring home for what he said, not his personality, to my parents, because he just showed so much respect for her parents and so much respect for her as a person already. I was like, Ryan, you get some points for me. I do think you're boring still, but I like you and how he presents himself.
Yeah, how he presents himself, his character, his morals so far are lining up. I like it.
But one of the biggest concerns is about how she communicates. So her parents are like, she's not the best communicator in the world. She got that from us. So, just be patient with that and just try to help her out with that a little bit more. And then when they meet up with each other, she does bring up the point that she never got into an argument in her 3-year relationship, but they just picked at each other. I was like, what kind of relationship was that?
Nitpicking, argument, whatever.
I feel like that goes in the same boat.
If you disagree, it still goes in the same boat. But let's jump back to her parents one more time. Is what they said, of course, about the communication thing. But her mom also said, we don't believe in a divorce. And his face was like, Like, kind of like you do realize it's an 8-week process and it may not work out.
Hey, he might not believe in divorce too. I'm sure his parents feel a type of way
I'm
because
just
his
saying.
parents were very supportive of it. So that was really interesting. So now let's go into Eric in Virginia. Some people might be fooled by Eric, but I'm not fooled by Eric. Eric, he likes the wild teen. Even though I feel like he wants to settle down, even though he wasn't trying to push Virginia into something happening, he wasn't opposed and he definitely wanted to cuddle and kiss all night long.
Okay, well, cuddling and kissing is natural and normal if you're attracted to somebody, but
It's what leads after that, Mom. You know this.
I know that. Thank you. That's how you got here. But the point is, you said you're not fooled by Eric. What, being a partier? Eric does not give me party vibes. And with his occupation being a pilot, I honestly don't think he can be part of the party scene because A, you have to be, alcohol and drug free. At least you're supposed to be being a pilot. And so maybe that's not his scene. Maybe he'll have like an occasional wine cooler, but not all that Virginia is thrown out.
Not like party, but just like he's with whatever. So he brings up to her, how do you feel about the last 24 hours? She loves everything about him. She loves the chemistry they have. They feel like they're bonding. He was like, yeah, that's all nice, but I have to tell you something. So I was married 3 years ago. Well, it ended about 3 years ago. And basically me and that person got married because he just wanted some military benefits. I was like, that's scamming. He got some scamming in his body.
Yeah, but he said that too in the very beginning of the show as well. The reasons why he's been married before, stuff like that. So we knew that already. But when we jumped to Eric meeting her parents, her stepmom and her dad, the dad comes across as, I'm going to protect my daughter no matter what, this and that. But remember, Virginia's story is her mom and her dad have been divorced a few times. They've step-marriage, stepmom, stepdad, all this other stuff. So that's why I said I think that Virginia is longing for a stability in her relationship. And her dad even mentioned it too, like, because of things she's seen and been through, she's longing for this.
He did. I thought about you a little bit. I was like, hey, well, Mom is probably on the same road.
But I still say maybe, no, maybe, leaning more towards a maybe. I think that they probably will stick it out, but she has to reel in that party girl consumption and the alcohol consumption, because I think that could be a factor in their relationship. Because it is in my opinion, it's a coping method for her. And since she's with someone stable as far as work is concerned and come from a traditional family, something that she's not from, she's going to have to try to reel that in.
And I thought a little bit that her dad was going to be kind of like, feel a type of way that he's been married before, but he was like, I would have concern, if it was like maybe 3 months ago, like somebody else on the show. But it was 3 years ago, so he was cool with it. So they had a nice relationship. And then when we go to Virginia and his parents, Miss Donna was on her best behavior. She hasn't tripped out yet, like we were kind of promised at that wedding that she would. The only thing that she was really ready for is them having grandchildren. Well, her having grandchildren, and them having children.
But you know what, Virginia's like, maybe in a couple years.
I think it's kind of good that she's being open and honest, so they already know what they're getting with that. So now let's go into our last couple, Brianna and Vincent. So Brianna and Vincent, they are definitely feeling each other. We can see that from a mile away, and I'm going to have to point this out because we pointed this out with Chris. Vincent did talk about her looks, like he's happy that he got someone petite. She's pretty, she has a nice smile and all that stuff. And I would have side-eyed Vincent for doing that, but then Brianna did the same thing. She's happy she got a tall, tan man, and hopefully, he is endowed in other places. So I was like, you know what? I would side-eye both of them, but both of them are on the same level, so I'm gonna let them have it.
But to be fair, not just Brianna, Vincent, Chris, I believe Virginia said the same thing. Clara, they all did. They all said it, that they were attracted to their mate.
Well, they like each other. We see that. So when we see that she meets with his family, more so his cousin, we found out that, he's a workaholic and he gets mad easily. Or not too easily.
We've always known he was a workaholic because we learned that the first time. They said he works too much because remember his ex, the reason why they broke up was because she didn't support his dream. So we knew that. But apparently He works on weekends. Like, can you believe that? Like, oh my God, he works on weekends. I didn't see that as a big deal. Sometimes you got to work on weekends.
Well, he just works too much. That's the thing. He just works too much, period, with that. Brianna said, you know, she's with it. They're going to have to compromise on that. And so when Vincent goes to meet her mom and her sisters and her friends and stuff, he was grilled by her mom. I think he was the only person who was really grilled by someone's parents this episode, and they let him have it. But, you know, Vincent said it on his own. It was like, you know what? I'm here for her. I'm going to protect her. I'm going to provide for her. I'm going to love her like she needs to be loved. And that's that. I was like, okay, Vincent, go ahead and put your foot down.
Yeah, because mom said, listen, I'm protective of my daughter. You better treat her right. Because I would have said the same thing.
Well, you're not on the show. So that was Brianna and Vincent. And then with all that being said, all that being wrapped up, we find out that they're actually going to Vegas. And I'm actually surprised because we're from Vegas and we didn't hear nothing about it, but it was a whole lockdown.
True.
I kind of think it was kind of boring for them to come here because back in July, August, most everything was closed.
Yeah, most everything was shut down, and that is the hottest month to come, late July, early August.
They said it was hot when they came.
It's more than hot, but they did stay at the Mandalay Bay. And, you know, we don't stay too far from Mandalay Bay. I'm just surprised we didn't hear about it, so they really taped it on the low. But I'm excited to see what they have coming up and where they're actually going to go on the strip, whatever casino is going to be open.
Me too. I'm excited to see where they're going to go to because I'm like, we're nowhere open. So where exactly did they go? Restaurants, a lounge? There was no clubs open. Maybe a Red Rock or something.
I saw them, somebody saying in Shark Reef. I think it was Clara, but that's neither here nor there.
The Shark Reef.
Yeah.
I went there in the 2nd grade. Absolutely
Hey,
not.
it's still open.
Well, anyways, I'm still going to be here for it. I know you're going to be here for it. I know you all are going to be here for it. We're going to laugh. We're going to drag because some people clearly need this in this season 12 of Married at First Sight. So that was pretty much the whole episode. So let us know what you guys thought about this week's episode if you stayed the entire time because it was kind of a long episode.
It was.
Especially about Chris and Paige. So thank you all so much for watching, for tuning in, for supporting us. We really do appreciate that from the bottom of our hearts.
Thank you all again for watching. And as always, live simply, be grateful.